Hello, everyone. Just want to take a couple of seconds to talk to you today about how to defeat the giants in your life. Now, if you look in the dictionary, you will probably find something similar to this. A giant is an imaginary or mythical being of human form, but superhuman size. Often, I think sometimes we have giants like this. Maybe you have a giant that seems like the giant of anxiety, or a giant of depression, or a giant of fear. Maybe there is this financial giant that's just hovering over your life. Or some people face health challenges, and that's a great big giant. Maybe you're having some marital trouble. That can be a really huge giant. Well, on this past Sunday, I had the opportunity to teach Crew, which is our middle school class here for J-Fire or for the youth. And in that class, I actually taught on how to defeat the giants in your life. And they threw out all different things to me that were giants in their life. There was only one problem. At that very moment when I taught that class, I was facing my own personal giant. Now, it may be funny to you because maybe this giant seems very small to you, but to me, it was really, really huge. It seemed overwhelming. At night, I could not sleep. I'd go to sleep and I'd wake up and I'd think about this giant over my life. It was causing me anxiety, and I'm like, what is going on? I just could not shake that thing. So by now, you're probably wondering, what in the world is this big giant? Well, this was on Sunday, and Monday morning, I was facing this great big, so I thought, giant of an MRI on my right shoulder. I don't really like closed spaces, and that makes me almost feel like I'm in some type of a casket or something. And so for you, it may be nothing, but for me, it was a great big giant. And I thought, well, Ressee, you did a great job with helping some youth, but now what are you going to do when you have to face your giant? So I had to stop and think, how do I defeat, not just face, but defeat this giant? Because I had several hours and then I was going to be laying inside of this machine. So first I thought, well, I've acknowledged that that giant exists. That's what we have to do. We have to first acknowledge, hey, this giant is the real deal. Whether it seems like it or not, it seems real to me. So I have to first acknowledge it. Then I have to say, hey, I'm going to have to somehow confront this giant face to face. I can either be defeated by the giant, or I can trust God to help me to defeat this giant. So I decided, hey, the word has always seemed to work. And if that didn't seem to work, guess what? I've been through so many things in my life, and God has brought me through. So I started to begin to think of all those things. And this one thing stood out to me, that the battle really was not mine. The battle belonged to God. All I had to do was just trust Him. Simply trust that He's everything that He says He is, and that He will do everything that He says He will do. So I believed that God was well able to deliver me from the hands of this great big giant. So I went into this room, and I still was feeling some kind of way, but I chose to say, God, I trust you. Really quickly, I know I have to do this real fast, but even that morning, I've only had one MRI in my entire life. That morning, I went to the closet, not expecting it, but I found this pill that I had maybe 10 years ago. And I'm like, man, is this God telling me, hey, you should take this pill? That'll help you. And then my other mind said, or I can trust you, God. So I made a choice. I'm going to trust God. And I have to tell you, I went and I faced this giant. I laid in the machine, and when I first laid down, I was a little bit anxious. But by the time the procedure ended, I was at such a place of peace because I chose to trust God, and He honored that I was okay. So I have to leave you with this, that is not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, says God. So we can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. Until next time, God's peace. Bye-bye.
Hey, if you haven't joined our Patreon yet, would you mind giving it your prayerful consideration? Patreon is a way you can support the Trinity Joppa YouTube channel. We've got multiple tiers to choose from, starting as low as $2 per month. Visit www.patreon.com/TrinityJoppa for all the details. Thank you. God bless.